So I traveled to the US recently, right? And it was an interesting couple of weeks. And one thing I managed to do in the US was to try out the Apple Vision Pro. So if you don't know what the Apple Vision Pro is technically, we got the normal mainline VR headsets. We got the ones you connect to your computer, the ones you can do standalone on. This is Meta Quest 3. But the main thing is the Apple Vision Pro is not a VR headset in the same way. It's supposed to be a standalone headset like the Meta Quest 3, but it's not supposed to be used for it's not the same area. Like it's very interesting. It's an interesting product. But the main thing I'm trying to get is that in the US I got to try it out, and I want to just go over a couple of my first impressions, what I think about it, and what I feel it could mean for the rest of the VR community. Because VR is such a niche area of technology that I think Apple can actually benefit a lot from coming down to our consumer level and actually trying to make a VR headset for other people than just industrial use. So, when it comes to me trying out the Quest 3, the first thing I noticed, pass-through isn't what it's hyped up to be. I was in a very well-lit environment. I tried it in the Apple Store in a mall in not Columbus, in Ohio. I don't know. I don't remember where this mall is. It's a pretty big mall. Maybe I can show a picture, a name, or something on screen. But I went to the Apple Store in the mall, and I saw an Apple headset, Apple Vision Pro, and I said, I want to try it out. So me and my girlfriend went down there. They said, hey, we actually can, we have a demo you can try. Take around 20 minutes. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So it's a well lit room. It's a lot of light, and I put it on, and the pass through isn't what it's hyped up to be at all. Like it's, how cameras work, right? The less light, the more noise you're gonna get, and it was very noisy. Even in that well lit environment, it was extremely noisy. So what I can say is that it isn't much better than the pass through on the Meta Quest 3. It's definitely better than the Meta Quest 2, 100%. The Meta Quest 2, it's black and white, it's super noisy, hard to see anything through that thing. You can't even use your phone. But it's not that much better than this. One thing I can say though is, compared to this, the pass-through is a lot more clean. It doesn't. You get these artifacts when you're using the Meta Quest 3. They are kind of like they kind of have a problem with the depth perception, where some things, for example, if you move your hand in front of the screen, it's gonna like bulge out in a weird way. It doesn't have those issues, so it is better, but it's the quality of the cameras aren't that much better, in all honesty. Second thing I noticed is this everything that's rendered. So we talk about Windows apps, everything that's rendered. It's like the sharpest display I've ever seen. Like it is incredible. You cannot see any screen door effect at all. You can't see the pixels. Like if I drop a window in front of me in AR, it just it looks better than the camera feed. Like it looks more real than the things coming out of the camera. So that is extremely impressive. And that I can say is something that is a lot better than the Meta Quest 3. But as someone that uses a VR headset a lot, it isn't like when you are in fully in VR, like when you're not just in pass through AR mode, when you're fully in VR, it isn't as noticeable as you would think. Like it doesn't look too as sharp as it does when you have the contrast between the real world and the rendered world, so to say. So when it comes to this full VR, just like it isn't that much better than this. Like it is probably a lot better, but it isn't noticeably better, if I can say it like that. When it comes to stuff like the interactiveness of it, how you use the device. The Quest, of course, you have the controllers. One sec, I have them over here. All right, quick add-in. While editing this, I recently found out that yes, the Apple Vision Pro can now use controllers. It can use the PlayStation 5 controllers. It got announced during the WWDC that the Apple Vision Pro can use the PlayStation 5 controllers after the update Vision OS 26. So, oops. They can now do gaming. They can now do controllers. I'm kind of excited for that, honestly, and I hope I can try it out at some point again. But we'll see. Back to the video. You got your controllers. They're very nice. I mean, I bought these silicon covers for them, so I can hold them. Kind of like the index controllers. You have the straps on the back of the hand, so I can let go completely. I can do something else, like use my phone. That bit hard to open it up, but yeah, I can use my phone while holding the controllers without any issues, which is very nice. I'm more of a VR gamer, less of a VR user when it comes to other aspects of life. I do like watching stuff in VR. Media consumption in VR is great. But the Apple Vision Pro doesn't have controllers. They use hand tracking. So how does hand tracking compare to the Meta Quest 3? The main thing I can think of is you interact with the device a lot differently than the Meta Quest 3. The main thing is you don't navigate with your hands, you navigate with your eyes. It uses eye tracking to determine where you're looking, and what you're looking at is what you're going to click on. So instead of, you reaching out and boop, you can do that too, but it's not the main way of doing it. The main way of doing it is you look at it and just tap with your hands, like whatever. So you do that. The Quest 3 can't do that. It doesn't have any eye tracking from what I know of. I've heard that the Quest 3S has eye tracking, which is very interesting. I've not tried it out on that headset. I only have the normal Quest 3 because I want the slimmer form factor, and yeah. But from what I know is it isn't. From what I experienced with the Apple Vision Pro is that yes, you can get used to just looking around and clicking, but it can get confusing sometimes, especially like while typing. You need to look at the keyboards individually. I can't look at what I'm writing and write with my hands at the same time. I need to look at the keyboard, tap. It's hard sometimes, but it is very accurate. It's very accurate. When it comes to actively interacting with stuff, the hand tracking gets a bit more wonky, but it's still good. Compared to the Quest 3, I would say the hand tracking is marginally better. But one thing that the Quest 3 does that makes it feel so much better, when you use it at least, is when you touch a screen. So let me explain. Let's say this is a window inside of your Meta Quest 3 or your Apple Vision Pro. In your Apple Vision Pro, when you reach out and your hand is like kind of covering, going behind the window, instead of, just letting the hand disappear, the hand kind of just shows up above it. It cuts out the window around your hand so you can see your hand. It's not the smoothest cut off, but it works. It's very nice. While the Meta Quest 3, instead of cutting out the window so you can see your hand, it has a 3D model of your hand above your actual hand. So when you go behind it, only the 3D model is visible. But, it's really good. I like that implementation better than the Apple Vision Pro, because the Apple Vision Pro makes it look a lot more cluttered. But one thing that this 3D model of a hand allows the Meta Quest 3 to do, I'll show you a video of it as well, is that when you reach out to touch something, because you can't get the feedback like a rumble or a buzz or whatever you want to call it from a controller in your hand, they have another way to show that you're touching something. And that is that 3D model of a hand, it kind of snaps into place in a very intuitive way that really makes you feel like, yes, I am touching this thing. While on the Apple Vision Pro, you don't really get that. So when you're scrolling on web pages, it feels like nothing. But on this, on the Meta Quest 3, you get that feedback to say, hey, snap, like it kind of goes like, it shows you, it gives you a visual feedback, tells you, yes, you are touching this web page right now. That allows you to actually, scroll, and it just feels a lot better than using the Apple Vision Pro. Otherwise, the Apple Vision Pro, it was an incredible device to play around with. I really enjoyed the immersive movies. There's kind of like movies that are shot in a way that you can really feel the depth of the effects. Like when you're watching a movie and you're in front of people, it feels like the quality of the display is so fucking good. It feels like you can just reach out and touch those people. Like it's when it's real people. When there is realistic people, when we're watching a movie shot on real cameras, shot real people, it looks like they're actually in front of you, and that really tricked my brain for a moment there. And that is the most groundbreaking experience I've had since I first tried VR. The fact that when I see a person in front of me, it has depth, it has all that shit, and I feel like I can just reach out and touch him. That is incredible, honestly. That's the most incredible thing that the Apple Vision Pro did for me. Other than that, this does everything that the Apple Vision Pro does, that I feel is important. That I don't really feel like I want that Apple Vision Pro, even if I could afford it. I don't want it because this is everything that I want, and it is lighter than the Apple Vision Pro. It can become a whole lot more comfortable than the Apple Vision Pro, and it can connect to my computer so I can play all my VR games and all that kind of stuff. So with that said, thank you all for watching. I'm sorry this is kind of I just wanted to rant a bit about the Apple Vision Pro that I managed to try. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you have a lovely evening. I hope you have a lovely week. I hope you have a lovely month. Take care, don't die, stay hydrated. I'll see you in the next one.